Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
We do finish each other's sentences.
Yes, we do.
And get ready.
We're going to have some fun.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Yes.
What is fun?
What is fun?
That's an interesting question, isn't it? What is fun? How do you determine that something is fun or it's problematic, difficult, hard work? What's the difference?
Yesterday I spent 2.5 hours
in the dentist chair.
And there were moments where I ceased having fun.
Yes, I'm sure.
But primarily, I did have fun. I did. We were chatting. I was appreciating the expertise. My dental tech and I were sharing pictures with each other. She was showing me videos of a bear on her property while I was getting my tooth impression and I couldn't talk. So I was doing lots of thumbs up. When you go about something as if it's your idea,
as opposed to being the victim of it,
it tends to be fun.
Well, I like that because, we can victimize ourselves with everything that needs to be done. This morning, before I got up here, I went and emptied our dishwasher. I made us tea. I did all these things and I had fun doing it. I mean, the unloading of the dishwasher was an interesting experience in that I looked and saw what was next and where it wanted to go. And I did everything in just a matter of moments.
I could tell you were having fun because you weren't banging the dishes. If you ever have somebody who's doing things in a hurry or is
protesting. Well, that's the thing. If you're protesting what you're doing, you don't have fun.
I like to play a game with myself when I'm in the dentist chair.
What's that?
I pretend I'm there to take a nap.
So then you have all these intrusions.
Well, yes, but then I notice, oh, look, I'm clenching my thighs. Oh, look, my hands aren't relaxed. And it's a whole different experience if you're there to be resting as opposed to resisting.
Yes. Well, you automatically resist when they start sticking around things in your mouth.
That's true. I can't say having multiple shots of Novocaine were fun. And of course, it took a while. So the Novocaine wore off. And I'm like, just keep going anyway. He's going, she's tough. She's so tough. I don't know if I was tough. I was certainly being where I was being as if it was my idea.
Right.
And it was rather fun to be there and know that sensation was sensation and I could certainly handle it.
I love it.
Yeah, it was very
Anyway,
cool.
We have some guests today.
We do. Should we take our first one?
Yes.
All right. Hello, Daniela. Welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi. Yeah, I'm zooming in from Euskirchen, located in Germany.
Wow.
All right.
Where is Euskirchen in relation to a large city that someone might know?
Yeah, the closest large city is Cologne. And by car, I need 40 minutes to get there. It's in the south of Cologne.
Nice.
It's on the northwest of Germany.
I asked Daniela this question about where her town is in relation to a city. And you may not know the geography of Germany. So when she says Cologne, that may not mean anything to you. My speaking about dentists may fling you off into thinking about your experience with dentists. Did I just keep bringing your attention back to simply listening to what's being said, as opposed to going off and having conversations with yourself? Let's have this one be a 3-way conversation.
Shia,
me, and Daniela. Not a 4-way conversation or a 5-way where you're having a conversation with all of us and
about our conversation.
Yes.
Well, most of us don't listen most of the time. We think about what's being said to see whether we already know it, which is logical. But that keeps us from being with the person who's speaking. We're thinking about what they're saying rather than being there with them, actually allowing what they say to come in all the way in without filtering it through. I don't think that's accurate. I disagree. Well, not always. Those conversations. Danielle is smiling when I say that.
Yeah, I know these kind of conversations.
Or you have them with Christian all the time.
Yeah,
Christian,
can happen.
So what can we do for you today?
Yeah, I read the title and I have to say I like having fun.
Mhm.
And I can also see when I don't want to have fun, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how can I get better? How can I get better? Better meaning, how can I have fun again? And I have all the options. Like I could, for example, call a friend and say, and get distracted from my thoughts, which keep me away from having fun.
Well, wait a second. Wait a second. You just said you have all the options. And I don't know that you have all the options. You said that. And I think, well, you do have all the options. Having fun is up to you. Your disagreement with the way things are going, the way you think things should be going, that disagreement causes you distress. But you have to be willing to give up being right to have fun. You want to know how to have fun? You have to give up being right.
Because
And you are very strong-willed, and you want to be right more than anything else. How's that?
That hits the nail on the head. and still, yeah.
So look, baby, it's about relaxing and seeing how you want to be right
more than you want to have fun. And seeing that fact without judging what you see.
If you see it, it completes itself.
She gave a little face.
I know.
But you started saying it, and I know the conversation took a slight turn, but we'll go back to what you were saying. You have the tools. You could call someone who could distract you from those thoughts that are not fun. But if you don't do that, and that was just one of the tools, you could get engaged in a project. But if you're not picking up those tools and using them, you have to be being invested in being right. Like you'd rather be upset and tell yourself you don't, and it's generally somebody else's fault.
I mentioned your boyfriend. Are you guys married?
No.
So your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned Christian before, and he's the prime suspect here. You see, he's what you blame your not having fun on. Because if he won't be fun, then you can't have fun.
And of course, I'm sure that your daughter aggravates you from time to time. I remember once our daughter called up us and said, I didn't sign up for this. And we said, what? She said, well, it got really quiet in my son's bedroom. I won't say which son because they're both, older now, would be very embarrassed. And I went in there and he was painting the wall with his poopy diaper. And for her, in that moment, it certainly was not fun. But, regardless of the circumstances, stepping in like, okay, this is my life is a whole different thing
than being the victim of the circumstances of your life. It's really like when Ariel was talking about yesterday being at the dentist office and being in a dental chair for 2.5 hours. I mean, I kept checking to see if she was coming home because it kept getting later in the evening. And but I can check up on her by looking
my Tesla app.
by looking at the Tesla app because it shows the car's location.
and it hadn't moved.
No, it
Well,
was right in front
one
of
of the
Memphis.
things I did that had it be fun for me was this was my third day in a row. I went because I had a problem. They fixed it. It created another problem. A bridge broke. I went back to just have it replaced. And I had been chatting with one of the dental assistants or in the office the day before and admiring her tattoo. She has her entire wedding dress tattooed on the front of her with lace, and it's a very interesting thing. And I told her I thought she was very brave because it looked like it hurt. She said, yeah, it did. But she was very proud of it. And we started talking about pictures, and I was showing her pictures in my phone. And I thought, she'd probably get a kick out of some of these cards I make. I'll just bring an array of cards and let her pick one. She can send it to a friend. So meanwhile, I'm there for 2.5 hours, and there were a lot of people around, and I was just handing out cards, and they were like so excited about their lives and telling me about places they'd been and what they'd been up to and what they liked and what the card meant to them. It was just fun to be there to take care of them rather than going, oh man, I'm in the dental office and I hate this. And I kept realizing I hate this was an option that I didn't have to press.
That's available in every instant of your life. You can either complain and disagree with where and what's going on, where you are and what's going on, or you can engage as though it's your idea. See, and I think you lose perspective or sight of fun as an option because once you're in the upset, Daniela, you are not having fun anymore, and you're being right about the reasons why you're not having fun. But if you drop the reasons why you feel the way you do and allow yourself to feel the way you feel, it completes itself in the moment that you allow it. So this is an audio recording, not just as I know we're looking at you on Zoom and I'm seeing
we're watching
your
the
face.
smiles and the nods, but it doesn't translate.
I listening to you, and still it comes up to my head like, it comes into my head like, how can I drop it? How can I drop it? How can I drop it? Being right.
Let me ask you a question. In this moment, are you holding on to something that you need to drop?
Well,
that's a good question, isn't it? Because I look at you right now, there's nothing you need to drop. So you're working on a future something when you'll be upset, how to get out of it. Rather than in this moment, you're fine.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you. It's a weird question and it's really personal.
Okay.
Do you have to pee right now?
No.
Okay. So asking yourself, how do I pee is not really relevant. But when it comes time to pee, all you have to do is relax. You relax, it lets go. And that's really the answer.
Okay.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to think about how you're going to do it until you need to, if you need to.
And really, that's all you do. When you're peeing, all you're doing is sitting down, usually for you, maybe standing per shy, but it's really about relaxing that hold and everything pours out. I know that's a really graphic thing, but relaxing is key.
Yeah, it is.
Relaxing is key to having fun.
That's true. Because I know that every once in a while, this hasn't happened to me in a while, but if I lose my sense of humor, instead of that being a bad thing that I need to find my way back to fun, I recognize that I've gotten ahead of myself. I'm trying to get somewhere, that I've been sacrificing this moment for someday that I've been thinking or often projects that I am pressing myself to complete, when in fact, when I relax, take my attention away, do something else, and come back to those projects, they're usually really fast to complete. But when I'm pressing myself to be a better me, they take forever.
Mhm.
Yeah, that resonates with me.
Yes.
Yeah, lately I felt that I wasn't completing things that I wanted to, and I put myself down for it, and
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to complete those things, wouldn't you complete them?
Yeah.
And if you want to put yourself down, then you leave things incomplete, so you have a good reason to put yourself down. What if it's all up to you? You know, you've got this, you're just born. We just made you a newborn being. In this moment of now, it's all new. Except if you bring your past in and all the complaints you have about you from your past, and then you're normal. Then it's, everything's worth complaining about. Because I'll tell you, if there's something you want to do to have fun, and I give you permission to do it, the question is, will you? Or are you more committed to being right that he did it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, that would, you see, and it's forgiveness is what it takes to have fun. That you forgive your past, what you did or didn't do. That allows you to have fun. Forgiveness is to give up the right or the desire to punish. Now, let's apply this to relationship. And there's no fun in Daniela's life if she's committed to being right, that her relationship is wrong.
Yeah. Confirm. And I have also to say, I think Christian is a great guy, and it only takes me to say something and we do it. And I notice when things are stuck, because I'm stuck, then I start really to get grumpy at him, and yeah, in a way I know it's not his fault. And yeah,
You know how I know Christian is a great guy? You're with him and he's with you. That's how I know he's a great guy.
I also have a feeling, Daniela, that when you start getting stuck, it hasn't occurred to you to communicate. Like from time to time, I might say, oh, Shia, I'm feeling like life has gotten complex. And he'll say, what are you talking about? And I'll say, well, I have project A, B, C. I'm not sure which to do first. This one's on deadline. I feel a little overwhelmed. And he generally will say, oh, well, you don't need to do that till tomorrow, or we'll do this together, or you'll get it all done. You'll always will. There's just something about last week's episode was a burden shared is lighter, a wind shared is brighter. And it really is like I share it, and then suddenly that tangle in my brain goes away, and it's all doable. It's always all doable.
Yeah, but you see, you used the word doable, and it's perfect. I don't want to give you something to do, a technique. See, because you are powerful. You are a powerful being. And all you have to do is let go of being right, and things all get good again. That's the bottom line. It's really whether you're being right, that other things or people or circumstances are causing you pain, or you give that up, and you can give it up in an instant. But it costs giving up being right.
You said something a bit ago, Shia, that I want to circle back around to, because I think it was so profound and it was simple, so it might have
Slipped on by.
If you're coming down on yourself for not completing things, it's because you want an excuse to come down on yourself. If we ever get ready to go for a trip and we want to get the house ready for Lenore, who has come to stay with our cat recently while we've gone. All of those incompletions can get done in no time.
Mm.
It feels like no time. It's outside of time. And they may be things that have lingered for a little bit. So all that ever tells me is I don't want to do them until I do them. If you want to do anything, Daniela, like Shia said, you're a powerhouse.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Thanks for being with us today.
Yes, thank you. Okay, here we go. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight, where we hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life.
If you want to learn more about our seminars, any of the upcoming virtual courses, visit transformationmadeeasy.com.
That is transformation made easy, easy.com.
I love it.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Maren from Brussels. I just want to share with you that with transformation, with joining seminars or listening to podcasts, I've noticed how over time I spend much less time thinking about the past, about things that I feel I should have done differently or how others have wronged me in the past. And I worry a lot less about the future. And this is just such freedom and bliss. There are so many moments in which I feel that I'm so much more available to myself, to my friends, to my family. And that's just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Our next Living Made Easy seminar is this Saturday, but due to the change in times in Europe and the US happening on different weekends, for those of you in Europe, this Saturday's Living Made Easy will be 1 hour earlier. It'll start at 2 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. So be sure to sign in early so you don't miss the beginning. Then, of course, Monday, the 7th, our next weekend seminars.
Relax into Life, that's December 3rd and 4th.
And then Transformational Time and Project Management, January 7th and 8th.
And then Costa Rica 2023 is open. And if you want to join us, you're welcome to. The prerequisite is doing a seminar with us, a weekend seminar, like Relax into Life or Transformational Time and Project Management.
If you haven't done one with us throughout this 2022, you need to register for one of those in order to join us in Costa Rica. Information about all of our seminars is online at transformationmadeeasy.com. You can register there as well.
Yes, indeed.
Let's take our next guest.
Yes, Wendy.
Hi,
Welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
I'm zooming in from Queens, New York,
Excellent.
from my kitchen.
Zooming
Um,
from her kitchen.
I love this topic about fun because I have in my head when the two things kind of bubbled up for me. And, recently I did take a seminar with you guys a couple months ago and had right after the seminar went to a little art class in my neighborhood. And it was, I'm a graphic designer by trade. And so I do art for a living. And so it was really fun to go and do like a collage class and I had no attention on whether I was doing it right or if it was good or bad. And I just had so much fun. And at the end of that class, everyone was taking photos of each other's art and helping each other with photo, like, oh, I found this image that you could use. And I think if I take that, like, to me, that was fun. But when I do a project at work, I feel like I'm trying to prove something, like I'm trying to like land the plane or make sure that this, I'm creative enough or whatever I attach to it, that I feel like I get very don't talk to me right now.
So Wendy, as you say this, I get caught by something. Look, I don't know how to lead seminars.
You got very still there. Like, what?
But you do it all the time.
I don't know how to lead seminars. All I do is come and be myself. Now, you can bring yourself to your art rather than put a pressure on you to produce something that you think will be acceptable. I don't try to produce an acceptable outcome to the seminars that I've been leading for more than 40 years. But I'm clear I don't know how to do it. Yet I do it by being myself moment by moment. Same thing for you. When you're making your collage in this art class, you didn't worry about the outcome. You just enjoyed the moment, and you're putting things together in ways that pleased you. If you did that at work, you'd be successful with every of your project, every one of your projects, all of your projects.
Now, you're not just seeing that you approached the art project in the class in a different way. You're comparing and making yourself wrong for how you do the work. So you can hold how you were in that class as a new possibility, and it can be instantaneous at work. Or you can work on yourself because you're substandard in your attitude when you go to work. Shai was talking to me about this in relation to solitaire last night, because he plays games of solitaire on his iPad in the evening as a relaxation. And I often read a book on my iPad. And then what happens is, if he wins a game, he gives it to me. I have a winning game. Would you like to play it? And you were talking to me last night about noticing the difference between simply playing, and then once you won a game, you want to retrace the steps to do it correctly so that you win again. It's a whole different pressure. So instead of it just being free-form fun, it's now suddenly producing the outcome of winning. But knowing that, you can compensate for that, and you can just have fun.
Wow. Yeah.
If you're, I'm not talking about hurricane weather, but regular weather, if you're standing in the ocean and you're about thigh deep or mid calf deep, and a wave comes, you compensate for that wave. You otherwise you would never be upright. Anytime a wave came, it would knock you over, and it would go out and it would knock you over. You're really good at compensating. You don't have to think about it. It's just a natural thing. So if you find yourself pressing yourself to produce that important result, you can just compensate for that.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Get back to this moment rather than that thought you followed that takes you out to a undesirable future.
I didn't expect you had a sentence earlier when you were talking about going to that class, and you were describing how you approached it, and you paused in the middle of it. I don't actually recall what you said because the conversation has moved on, and I've moved on. But I expected you to say, or what I filled in with is, and I trusted myself. At work, you have the layers of the early version of you, just like we all have layers of early versions of us. When you didn't trust yourself and you were new and you did make mistakes, but you don't relax into your expertise.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I have been doing art, so some of that collage class was natural, like, and it was, yeah. I mean, that's true that I do have an expertise.
Using the word fun?
What was that?
Are you resisting using the word fun? It was, you say, but you didn't say it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing too is you were talking about the different people coming up with pictures and saying, oh, you might want to use this. You might really enjoy this image. That was fun. But at work, you might perceive that as criticism as opposed to collaboration.
Well,
That's true.
interestingly enough, a moment ago, I was drawn to my cell phone and I picked it up and I realized that the flashlight was on.
Uh-huh.
So I was turning off the flashlight when you tapped me on the leg.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, I'm not distracted from this conversation. I'm here. I want to just turn off my flashlight
Gotcha.
so the battery doesn't die. But there was a real strong wanting to be right about my point of view.
That I was being unreasonable.
That you were being unreasonable because you didn't know all the facts.
Yeah, I relate to that.
I thought you might.
Yeah. Yeah. And I recently had a conversation with you and you used the word vendetta of giving up. And I don't know, I feel like that unlocked a key for me. Like you say honesty is the way to transformation, really. And I've not been honest with that. I've been pretending. I don't know how to explain it. It just made sense.
Slow down. You're as honest as you know how to be.
Yeah.
This vendetta thing. See, in order to have your life be fresh and new and in the current moment, you have to give up the past.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to give it up because it was there as it was, but you have to give up blaming the past for the current moment, and you have to give up punishing what happened in the past. You have to give up your vendetta to punish what happened previously, because that keeps you in the past, doesn't allow you to get back into the current moment where fun exists.
Yeah.
I got that weird image again. It's like relaxing your hold on P. It's like relaxing your hold on the past. You're just letting it go. It's not like
it's not a
rejecting
decision.
it
Right.
or trying to get rid of it. You're just relaxing around it, not holding on to it as if it means something right
Not
now.
holding on to it is a really good expression of what's needed. If you don't hold on to it, it disappears and your next moment shows.
Yeah.
It's not about
No.
trying to get into the next moment. It happens as a result of letting go of those past moments. Most people are stuck, Wendy, in the past, thinking they ought to have said it differently, done it differently. They should have stayed in that relationship. They shouldn't have stayed in that relationship. It's all holding on to past as though it has any hold over your current moment. It does if you hold on to it. It doesn't if you just let it go. If you forgive it, because you could have only done it the way you did.
Yeah. This is very cool. I'm going to Rochester, I haven't been home in like years because of COVID. So it's just, I don't know, I feel so grateful because I just feel like some of it has just been, I didn't even realize it was there and that it was something I kept tripping over.
What is it that you're speaking of?
I think just letting go of the vendetta. You know where I saw it as I was speaking to my oldest sister,
Ah,
and I saw this flash of like, I don't want to compliment her in my head. And I thought, whoa, where is that? But it was like a little version of me feeling left out with my two sisters. And I don't even really, it didn't make logical sense. It was more like an emotional response.
well, I'm noticing Ariel's smile here because she's got two sisters too.
And do your sisters live near each other?
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to have had a closer connection particularly over the COVID time. You can't travel there, but in one way, you haven't minded it at all. But in the other, in the little girl version, there's that resentment.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're closer in age too, as well. So I was younger.
The thing is this, Wendy, you saw it.
Yeah.
There was a time that you just resented her without realizing that you were resenting her.
And that it was an automatic reflexive reaction that had nothing to do with the current time.
Yeah.
We were talking about this recently. I don't know if it was in a seminar or in a podcast, because we've done a lot of things in the last few days, about how transformer people who listen to the show, attend seminars, think now they shouldn't have those reflexive, reactive, mechanical whoop of, I don't want to compliment her.
Yeah.
And it's not that, it's what Shia said, where you see it. And now what?
See, that seeing it allows you to disengage from that as if it has no power over your life at all, and then it doesn't. But if you don't see it, you automatically behave resentfully towards your sister who's done nothing wrong recently.
Yeah. And
There have been some things wrong when you were growing up. You were that little brat who showed up and got all the attention.
yeah. I think too, is like, I didn't want to see it. I think so. I was like, I disapproved of it. But talking to you, you kept saying on that Monday night, all it takes is seeing it and it could be transformed in an instant. And there was something in me that was like, I want that. I want it, because I just kept putting it under the rug.
There's a story about a Zen master and a college professor. A lot of stories about Zen masters and college professors. So the Zen master is being, the college professor is thinking, and so that's the dichotomy there. The college professor comes to the Zen master and says, I want you to teach me about Zen. So the Zen master says, well, first, let's go out and take a ride on the lake, on the boat. So they go out on this rowboat. The Zen master says, and Zen master's rowing, and the college professor sitting in the back seat, and the Zen master says, please stand up, and he does. And the Zen master then shakes the boat from side to side, flips the guy into the water. And when he comes up, the Zen master puts his head back underwater and holds it there until bubbles start coming out. And then he lifts the guy's head and he says, when you want to find out about Zen as much as you wanted that last breath, come back to me and I'll talk to you about Zen. If you really want it, you'll get it. If you are a dilettante in your engagement in enlightenment or waking up or whatever,
it's a lot harder. It's catch as catch can.
And it doesn't work because there's no commitment. And Wendy, you have the commitment. I've seen it over and over in you. So it's not something you need to develop. You've got it already. And I admire it because it's the thing that got me to the current moment of my life. That persistence in going for it, not quitting on yourself. Because it's so easy to quit on yourself. Something happens and you hurt yourself. You hurt your feelings and then you withdraw. Well, it was what happened earlier with Ariel and that iPhone. I had a very reasonable reason to hold that iPhone to turn off the flashlight.
And
She
I had
did-
a reasonable reason also in that the whole visual of movement was very distracting in the middle of a sentence. So both were fine.
But-
And that he didn't hold it against me
That-
allowed him to have fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
Was I had that choice of having a temper tantrum in my head that she doesn't understand me and she doesn't realize what I'm doing and she's dominating me and
And if
all
that-
the other things that you say when Madhu says something to you.
and leaving the flashlight on for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes would not have drained the battery. We have that thing to charger right downstairs. So either one of us could have been right, or it's like,
Well, you are right that I could have charged, but I never thought of that.
yeah.
All I saw was it was an automatic reaction. The
like,
flashlight's
oh,
on. turn it
flashlight's
off.
on.
Yeah.
But I like that because it's, that as an example, because you can get yourself upset over anything if you want to be upset. But if
That's very true.
The
Yeah.
commitment is finding the moment where fun exists.
Wouldn't that be funny if all of a sudden we start fighting over the iPhone flashlight?
It's like-
I'm sure we've all picked fights over tinier things than that.
Yeah.
And then all that tells us is you're already upset and looking for an excuse. Like we were saying to Danielle, if she's been putting herself down lately, then she's on scan for an excuse. And then your actions support what it is that you want.
I love that. Mm.
Really a treat talking with you today.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah. This was amazing. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. If you've enjoyed the podcast, feel free to leave a review. You're welcome to be a guest. You can find out how at transformationmadeeasy.com/being here. And next week's episode, I think this is fun. Following the fun is hurry up, hurry up. Of course, you've never told yourself that. Thanks to our guests. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.